Our Ava's bank balance was $491. Her deposits and withdrawals since then were $72, -$205, $305, and -$41. Positive numbers mean that they are deposits. Negative numbers mean that they are withdrawals. So she's taking that out of her account. So we're going to add 491. Plus she deposited 72. Then she withdrew 205. Then she deposited 305. Then she withdrew 91. So we're going to add these numbers from left to right. 491 plus 72, my signs are the same, so I add them. 1 plus 2 is 3. 9 plus 7 is 16. 4 plus 1 is 5. Bring everything else down. $563 plus -205, my signs are different, so I subtract. I have to borrow. 13 minus 5 is 8. 5 minus 0 is 5. 5 minus 2 is 3. Bring everything else down. $358 plus 305, my signs are the same, so I add. 8 plus 5 is 13. 1 plus 5 is 6. 3 plus 3 is 6. 663 plus -41, my signs are different, so I subtract. 3 minus 1 is 2. 6 minus 4 is 2. Bring down your 6. Her balance is $622. Evaluate. Do not use a calculator on this section for 2 through 21. -5 times -7. When you multiply a negative times a negative, your answer is positive. 5 times 7 is 35, and a negative times a negative is positive. Number 3, 98 minus -24. When you're subtracting, you have to use additive inverse. Keep your first number, change subtraction to addition, take the opposite of the second number. Now my signs are the same, so I add them and keep the sign. 8 plus 4 is 12. 9 plus 3 is 12. 122. Number 4, I'm subtracting, so I have to use additive inverse. Keep your first number, change subtraction to addition, take the opposite of the second number. My signs are different, so I add them. 9 plus 3 is 12. 7 plus 3 is 10. And they're both negative, so my answer is negative. -102. Number 5, 21 plus -75. My signs are different, so I subtract. 75 minus 21. 5 minus 1 is 4. 7 minus 2 is 5. My bigger number is negative, so my answer is negative. When I'm subtracting, I have to use additive inverse. Keep your first number, change subtraction to addition, take the opposite of the next number. My signs are the same, so I add. 5 plus 5 is 10. 6 plus 3 is 9. Both of them are negative, so your answer is -90. When you have more than 2 numbers, you add and subtract from left to right. 75 plus -12, my signs are different, so I subtract. 5 minus 2 is 3. 2 minus 1 is 1. My bigger number is positive, so my answer is positive. 13 plus -9, my signs are different, so I subtract. 13 minus 9 is 4. My bigger number is positive, so my answer is positive. Number 8, 63 divided by -9. 63 divided by 9 is 7. And a negative divided by a negative is positive. Number 9, -9 times 6. 9 times 6 is 54. And a negative times a positive is a negative. Number 11, number 10, -132 divided by 12. 132 divided by 12 is 11, and a negative divided by a positive is a negative. Alright, number 11. -5 times -8. 5 times 8 is 40, and a negative times a negative is a positive. Number 12, 70 divided by negative 10. 70 divided by 10 is 7. And a positive divided by negative is a negative. 13, negative 3 times negative 12. 3 times 12 is 36. And a negative times a negative is a positive. Number 14, when you're adding fractions, you have to have the same denominator. 5 and 10 will both go into 10. So I need to change 5 to be a 10. To do that, I'm going to multiply by 2. What I do on the bottom, I have to do on the top. 2 times 2 is 4. 5 times 2 is 10. Now that I have the same denominator, I can add the numerators. 3 plus 4 is 7. Keep your denominator at 10. 15, you have to use additive inverse, 1 8/100 plus negative 3 4/10. My signs are different, so I subtract. You have to put the bigger number on top, and you have to line up your decimals. You need to borrow. 10 minus 8 is 2. 3 minus 0 is 3. Bring down your decimal. 3 minus 1 is 2. Your bigger number is negative, so your answer is negative 2 32/100. Number 16, when you are multiplying decimals, you do not line up the decimal. 4 times 5 is 20. 4 times 6 is 24. Plus 2 is 26. 4 times 5 is 20. Plus 2 is 22. Bring down a 0. 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 6 is 12. Plus 1 is 13. 2 times 5 is 10. Plus 1 is 11. Add these numbers. That's 0, 6, 5, 3, 1. I have 1, 2, 3 decimal places, so I go to the left 3. And your answer is 13 56/100. 17, I'm multiplying. 15 thousandths times 4. 4 times 5 is 20. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 2 is 6. 4 times 0 is 0. I have 3 decimal places, and a positive times a negative is a negative. Number 18, 7 2/10 divided by negative 8/10. Your second number goes outside the house. When you're dividing decimals, you have to move the decimal to the end to make a whole number on the outside. What you do on the outside, you have to do on the inside. 8 will go into 72 9 times, and a positive divided by a negative is a negative. Number 19, I need to have the same denominator. 8 and 2 will both go into 8. So I need to change the 2. I'm going to multiply by 4 to make the denominator 8. What I do on bottom, I have to do on top. 1 times 4 is 4. 2 times 4 is 8. Now I have negative 5/8 plus 4/8. I have the same denominator, so I just worry about the numerator. Negative 5 plus 4. My signs are different, so I subtract. 5 minus 4 is 1. Keep the sign of the bigger number. Your answer is negative 1/8. Number 20, when you're multiplying, you need to turn your mixed number into an improper fraction. 5 times 3 is 15, plus 1 is 16. When you have a whole number, put it over 1. If you can simplify, simplify before you multiply. Look in your numerator and denominator and see if anything will simplify. I have a 10 and a 5, which are both divisible by 5. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 10 divided by 5 is 2. Now I can multiply straight across. 16 times 2 is 32. 1 times 1 is 1. A positive times a negative is a negative. And anytime you have a number over 1, that's like saying negative 32 divided by 1, it's just going to be what's in the numerator. You turn it back into a whole number if you can. That's the most simplest form. 21, when you're dividing fractions, you need to turn your mixed number into improper fractions. 3 times 5 is 15, plus 2 is 17. Keep your first number, change division to multiplication, take the reciprocal of the second number. Now I look to see if I can simplify anything. 9 and 3 will both simplify by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 9 divided by 3 is 3. But now I have 3 over 3, which will also simplify. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 3 divided by 3 is 1. Now I can multiply straight across. Negative 17 times negative 1 is 17. 1 times 1 is 1. And anything over 1 is just the numerator. It is 17. Order the numbers from least to greatest. My smallest number is negative 10, negative 5, negative 1, 0, 2, 4, and then 5. Number 23, a mountain climber is standing in a valley at the base of a mountain. The valley floor is 32 feet below sea level. The top of the mountain is 345 feet above sea level. How far will he have to climb to reach the top of the mountain from the valley floor? So we have a mountain, and the bottom, here's sea level. The bottom is 32 feet below sea level. This is where the guy's standing. He wants to go to the top that is 345 feet above sea level. So we're going to take the top of the mountain and subtract where the guy is, negative 32. When you're subtracting, you use additive inverse to turn it into an addition problem so that you can use your adding rules. 345 plus 32. 5 plus 2 is 7. 4 plus 3 is 7. 3 plus nothing is 3. So he has to go 377 feet. For 24 and 25, fill in the blank with the correct vocabulary terms. The number's distance from 0 on a number line is absolute value. Whole numbers and their opposites are called integers. Which of the following statements is true? 15 is not less than negative 13. Negative 13 is greater than negative 15. Negative 13 is not less than negative 15. And negative 15 is not greater than positive 13. A submarine is 58 feet below sea level. An airplane is 264 feet above sea level. How far above the submarine is the airplane? So we're going to take the airplane and subtract the submarine. Of course, when we're subtracting, we change it to addition using additive inverse. Add the opposite. My signs are the same, so now I add. 8 plus 4 is 12. 6 plus 6 is 12. 2 plus 1 is 3. 322 feet. Ron started the day with a score of 12. He lost 4 points, gained 3 points, lost 15 points. 12 plus negative 4. You have different signs, so you subtract. That's 8. 8 plus 3 is 11. 11 plus negative 15, your signs are different, so you subtract. 15 minus 11, 5 minus 1 is 4, 1 minus 1 is 0. The bigger number is negative, so your answer is negative 4. Which symbol makes the statement true? Negative 10 is less than 19. Nina and her 8 friends went out for lunch. They agreed to share the bill evenly. So you have Nina plus her 8 friends, which is 9. If the bill is 54, then 54 divided by 9 is $6 a piece. Write the equation represented by the number line. We're starting at 0 and went to the left 7, so that's negative 7. Then we went to the right 10 plus 10 equals positive 3. Use the number line to model the sum. Start at 0. Negative 4, we go to the left 4. Plus negative 3, go to the left 3. Your answer is negative 7. A helium atom is made up of electrons with a negative 1 charge and protons with a positive 1. If the helium has 2 electrons, then they have to have what to make them neutral? That will be 2 protons. C. These are called zero pairs because when you add them together, they equal 0 and they are opposites.